Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I'm going to jump straight into it. This is my tarot card reading for the year. Prompt. I am seeking an objective symbolic tarot interpretation using the Oracle of Visions deck. This reading is for the next year of my creative practice, specifically my YouTube channel as an extension of my storytelling, world building, and fiction projects. Please interpret the cards with an intention to subconscious influences, hidden talents, energy management, creative sustainability, and narrative direction. I am not asking for predictions of success or failure, but for insight, pattern recognition, and guidance that supports long-term creativity, health, and authenticity. The images in the Oracle of Visions deck are loosely broken into 4 categories: situations, emotions, actions, and behavior. The deck emphasizes psychological insight, archetypal imagery, and intuitive symbolism rather than predictive fortune telling. When interpreting, prioritize the imagery as metaphorical, psychological symbolism, and creative strategy over fortune telling. I've attached a visual representation of my spread layout with the card positions and the cards I pulled for the reading. Since it might be a little hard to read the cards due to the original spread layout, I repositioned them and added a list showing the card position and number it has in the deck.
Thank you for the care and clarity you brought to this. The way you framed the question already tells me a lot about how you're approaching your creative year. Not as a hustle sprint, but as an ecosystem you want to live inside without burning it down. That matters, and it shows up clearly in the spread. I'll move through this as a system rather than isolated cards, because this deck really speaks in relational logic, how images talk to each other, where tension repeats, where symbols rhyme. I'll reference the card positions by function first, then fold in the imagery and psychology. Number 1. Current lens. Card number 27. The poised woman framed by artifacts, constructed identity. Your current lens is curated awareness. This image reads as someone who has already integrated many versions of herself, memories, references, skills, aesthetics, into a presentable face. There's composure here and intentional framing. Psychologically, this suggests you're currently viewing your creative practice through the lens of coherence. How do these pieces fit together? How do I present the inner archive without losing myself in it? For your YouTube channel specifically, this points to a phase where you're not experimenting wildly. You're selecting. You're aware of audience, format, tone, and legacy. That's not performative, it's editorial. The subtle tension, when your lens is too refined, it can create distance from raw impulse. You're not disconnected, but you are filtering heavily. This isn't wrong. It just means spontaneity may feel messier than you're currently comfortable with. Creative strategy. You're operating as an archivist architect. Let that be conscious. When you choose to drop the frame, it will feel liberating instead of destabilizing. Number 2, subconscious influence. Card number 50. The submerged world, reflection, thresholds, depth imagery. Underneath everything is immersion without urgency. This card speaks to a subconscious desire to inhabit your worlds rather than extract content from them. There's a sense of timelessness here, creative depth that doesn't care about algorithms, trends, or output schedules. Psychologically, this is your nervous system saying, open quote, I need space where nothing is demanded of me. Close quote. This is important for sustainability. Your subconscious isn't pushing you to produce more. It's asking you to stay longer inside the image, the myth, the feeling. For YouTube, this suggests that formats allowing slowness, analysis, reflective narration, symbolic breakdowns, ambient or contemplative storytelling will nourish you far more than high-energy or performative content. Creative strategy. Honor this by designing at least one recurring format that feels like a creative tide pool rather than a broadcast. Number 3. Hidden strength or talent. Card number 46, the suspended figure, inversion, wings, sacrifice for vision motif. Your hidden strength is voluntary inversion. You have a natural capacity to step outside conventional orientation, emotionally, narratively, psychologically, and remain calm there. Where others feel destabilized by ambiguity, you gain insight. This is not about suffering for art. It's about your ability to sit with paradox, hold unresolved meaning, let stories remain unfinished on purpose. This is incredibly powerful for long-form storytelling, lore building, and interpretive work. It also means you're well suited to guiding others through uncomfortable or liminal ideas without sensationalizing them. Creative strategy. Lean into content that doesn't resolve but reframes. Your talent is not answers, it's orientation shifts. Number 4, energy leak drain. Card number 24. The figure at the chessboard. Calculation, control, mental overexertion. This is the clearest warning in the spread. Your energy leak is over-strategizing identity. This card suggests that too much mental simulation, planning how content will land, how it will be interpreted, how it fits into the larger system, slowly drains the joy and somatic energy from creation. This isn't about intelligence, it's about load. When everything becomes a move in a long game, creativity turns brittle. For YouTube, this looks like re-recording instead of releasing, over-explaining context, delaying uploads because the full picture isn't ready. Creative strategy. Introduce non-optimal releases. Let some work exist as a gesture, not a solution. 5. Guidance for alignment. Card number 36. The woman in red, organic growth, sensual presence, grounded power. Alignment comes through embodied authorship. This card asks you to let your body, not just your mind, participate in creative decisions. What feels satisfying to say out loud? What tone feels nourishing to inhabit for 20 to 40 minutes at a time? Psychologically, this is about reclaiming pleasure and presence as valid creative metrics. If something feels elegant but deadening, it's misaligned. If something feels slightly indulgent but alive, it's worth following. Creative strategy. Choose formats and recording styles that feel physically comfortable and emotionally resonant, even if they're less optimized. Number 6. The near hurdle. Card 32. Flight imagery, constraint, movement against structure. Your near hurdle is premature momentum. There's a risk of pushing into motion before internal alignment fully settles, not because you're impatient, but because you sense potential and want to honor it. This hurdle isn't failure, it's friction. The message here is to allow lift to happen gradually. Creative wings need airspace. Creative strategy. Stagger growth. Let one thread deepen before adding another. 7. Emerging vision. Card number 14. The floating figure. Ascension through joy. Integration of multiple realities. This is a beautiful and very fitting culmination. Your emerging vision is playful transcendence, not escapism, but elevation through delight and narrative coherence. This suggests a future creative identity where your worlds feel lived in, your audience feels invited, not instructed. Your channel becomes a threshold space between analysis, story, and myth. Importantly, this vision isn't about scale. It's about resonance. You're moving toward work that feels light without being shallow, imaginative without being chaotic. Creative strategy. Design your channel as a place people return to, not binge. Overall pattern recognition across the spread, 3 themes repeat. 1. Depth over velocity. 2. Embodiment over optimization. 3. Invitation over performance. Nothing here suggests burnout is inevitable, but it does suggest that sustainability depends on resisting the urge to overstructure meaning before it has time to breathe. Your cards don't ask you to become louder, faster, or more visible. They ask you to become more inhabitable, for yourself first.
Okay, and that was it for the reading. I noticed that it read the last card wrong and went back and reread card number 3. So technically the reading was off because it didn't interpret the right card at the end, which threw a very important card off, which was the whole vision for the channel. When I was doing it on my own, I went back and asked for clarifications on some of the cards, so I got a little more insight. I think if I were to do it again, which I probably will do this again in my own time, I'll ask it to go more directly by the little white book in the tarot deck, because I like the interpretations that Cyril Marchetti came up with. And I got a very different reading when I was using the little white book and interpreting it for myself. So I think it would be interesting to go card by card. actually give it the information for each card, like the interpretation for each card, and then have it interpreted based on my personal creativity and writing goals. I think that would give me a little more insight. So that's what I'm going to do next, but I'll do that in my own time. This is a good experiment, and it helps me because I do think I want to have some fictional tarot readings in my story. So this was just basically to give me some practice. But that was it. I hope you enjoyed that. Based on the information that I got from the reading and all the things I thought about while coming up with the prompt, I think I'm pretty sure about what kind of content I want to put on the channel. And to do that, I'm going to need to upload once a week, and I'm going to need a little time to get the first video ready. So I'm going to take a little bit of a break, probably 2 weeks. It's my goal to upload in a couple of weeks on Friday. So I hope to see you then. Bye.